Hi friends! We're back again with another at-home myofascial release self-massage video. We'll be using our tune-up balls, this time just one tune-up ball, as we focus today on our upper trapezius muscle. Our trapezius is a big trapezoidal muscle that runs from the top of your back. It starts off quite broad, narrows down a little bit as it moves towards your mid-back. The trapezius is responsible for movements of the shoulder blades, this lifting and lowering action of the shoulder blades, and is also involved in the protraction and retraction movement of the arms. It's a very broad muscle and is responsible for tons of different actions. It tends to get quite tight, especially if you have a desk job or if you get stressed and you find this is where your shoulders land. If you reach around and give yourself a little massage in the middle of your workday, you're probably grabbing the upper trapezius fibers. So that's what we're going to release today because so many of us carry quite a bit of tension in this area. We'll start by landmarking exactly what fibers of the muscle we're focusing on today. So reaching around, let's start with our left side. I'm going to reach my right arm around and grab on to this area in between my shoulder and my neck. You can squish it under your fingertips and feel it's quite soft. It's not on the bone of the shoulder and it's not in the spine or at the base of the neck. It's this area in between. Lots of real estate here left to right. So you're welcome to place your tune-up ball either a tiny bit closer to the shoulder or a tiny bit closer to the neck as you see fit, or somewhere right in the middle. We'll play around with it once we're down on the ground and you can decide what serves you best. We'll make our way onto our backs here. Feet are planted, knees up to the ceiling. I'm going to start with my left shoulder, rolling onto my right side. Take that tune-up ball and tuck it underneath that area we just landmarked. Feet can be planted or legs can be long, whatever suits you better. And arms will start out by our sides. Might turn your palms up to the ceiling, moving our shoulders into slight external rotation. Oh, I've got a cat over my arm. Maybe you've got some sort of critter/child at home. And as always, I invite you to start with just a few deep rounds of breath. You might be feeling tons of sensation already from the pressure of the tune-up ball, or you might be feeling nothing at all. It's going to show up very differently in all of our bodies, and even differently left to right. So let's press the shoulder down into the tune-up ball. Feel that engagement. 3, pressing down with the left shoulder. 2, relaxing through your jaw. And 1, easing off the pressure. Let's take a few breaths here. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And let a big sigh out the mouth. 1 more, just like that. And big sigh out. You're welcome to stay right here. Or you might start to reach those fingertips down towards your ankles, so not having to touch, but just fingertips reaching towards the feet, palms facing in towards the side body. Let's start to lift that arm. Maybe it comes to point up to the ceiling, fingertips to the sky. Maybe you start to reach back and behind. For a lot of us, this is where it tends to get a little spicy. So you decide. If that's feeling like too much, don't go far. Keep the motion smaller. When you're ready, we'll start to pull the arms back, fingertips up to the sky, and then reaching down towards your heels. Move slowly. We spend so much of our day rushing. Can we do this one thing for ourselves with slow intention? Can you breathe as you move your hand through this little arc? Can you relax the ribs through the inner thighs? And I want you to notice, does anywhere in this arc feel sticky, feel gross? Or does it all feel peachy keen? Love that for you if that's you. It's not me, I'll tell you right now. Next time you're moving through the arc and you find that spot that maybe feels the stickiest, the spot where maybe your breath hitched, can you pause? dropping the shoulder down into the tune-up ball. An option here, you might start to rotate at your wrists, like you're turning a doorknob with that left hand. Rotating the fingers in, and then out to the side. Just this rotation at the wrist causing our muscles to sort of twist around the therapy ball. This is called cross-fibering. Almost like you're wringing water out of a wet rag. We're wringing the tension, adhesions out of the layers of fascia and muscle tissue and skin and dermis that comprise the sort of Russian nesting doll of our body. Layers and layers and layers. If this isn't feeling good, you absolutely do not have to do it. You can keep working with that forwards and backwards arm arc, or let the hand rest by your side and breathe. I caught myself just starting to aggressively turn this doorknob, like, why is this door locked? You slow it down if you're like me. Be really mindful. Press your shoulder down as you twist at the wrist. Keep it slow. Keep it thoughtful. Keep breathing through it. And then nice and slow, we'll start to let that arm fall all the way out to the side. Right away, you might notice that feels a little bit different. We're activating different muscle fibers or relaxing different muscle fibers and changing the emphasis of the self-massage. You can stay here, or you might start to draw like a little snow angel wing on the ground. Arm reaching up, fingertips can drag across the floor, and reaching down. Again, doesn't need to be big. Go slower than you want to. That was a message from me to me. You guys know me, I'm always rushing. Let's try to slow it down and breathe. I noticed that I was kind of clenching through my belly and my lower back was arching a little bit from the floor. I'm going to relax hips towards the ribs, lower back comes down. Feel that connection between my rib cage and the mat. Let that lead to my left shoulder pressing down. Just being really mindful of the back body here. The more we relax into this tune-up ball, the deeper the sensation of pressure. So if it's feeling like too much, you can either ease off the pressure or remove the movement of the arm. So just let the arm rest in stillness. We get so much benefit just from static pressure. So there's no requirement to keep moving. If the moving doesn't feel like it's serving you, if it's making your brow furrow, your jaw tense, or your breath hitch, then you're probably moving into this sympathetic nervous system response. Your body thinks it's under attack. It's heading into fight or flight. And when we do that, our muscles seize up and we derive less benefit from this kind of work. So it's important to find an edge where we can still breathe. We can still relax those micro muscles of the face so that we can derive the most possible benefit from doing this work. Next time your arm comes through center, you might take a bend into your elbow, making this little cactus arm on the ground, and then draw the cactus up and maybe over your chest. For me, when I lift it kind of towards my chest, it already feels like a ton of pressure, so I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to drop my arm back down to the side and then lift it up again. Ooh, feel free to make some weird noises, make some weird faces. As long as we're still breathing through it, as long as we're not feeling sharp or acute sensations, but rather a dull, firm sensation, we're okay. You can really play with the range of motion here. That elbow might come all the way down to the ground on your left, or it might not. And it might lift all the way over your chest like you're coming into eagle arms in a yoga class. Or it can be so much smaller than that. Maybe you're just holding with that arm a little elevated. It's the beauty of this practice. We can really make it what we want it to be. So it doesn't need to look like what I'm doing on the screen here. I'm doing what makes sense in my body, but I don't have your body. You're the expert on that. So you decide what kind of movements are serving you. And if none of the ones I've offered feel good, hang out in stillness, or maybe get a little weird with it. Might draw some circles with the arms, rotate at the wrist. Doesn't need to be strict, as long as you're breathing. Let's find 3 more rounds of breath here, whatever motion you're working with. Can you relax the hips, the jaw with each exhale? And next time your arm comes down to the side, pause. Can roll slightly to the right and remove that tune-up ball, letting your back come down to the mat. Oof. My right shoulder feels a lot tighter and higher off the mat than my left. Those are the observations I notice in my body. How do your shoulders feel? Maybe you tuck the chin in towards the neck and see if you can press shoulder blades down into the mat. You might shrug the shoulders a few times, or maybe reach the hands up, fingertips to the sky, and then back and behind you. Just noticing if range of motion feels different side to side. Myofascial release helps lubricate, so it applies or it draws more hydration to the areas that are under pressure. So normal to feel a little bit more ease at the joint or in the movement after we've rolled. You might perceive a difference side to side, or you might not. Again, just cultivating the skill of noticing these differences is as much a part of the practice as the work itself, building body awareness or proprioception. When you're ready, let's roll over to the left side and tuck the tune-up balls underneath the right upper trap muscle. Oof. Ooh, this side feels grosser, which is unusual for me. I'm a lefty, so usually my left side feels more tight. I don't know what I did yesterday. But that's the cool thing about this work too, is you'll notice habits in your body, and then some days your body breaks those habits or is showing up a little differently. And that's just a result of day-to-day life, exercise, history of injury, posture, all of the things we do. You might let that right hand rest out to the side or anywhere else that feels comfortable. Let's take a few rounds of breath before we move. Deep, full breath in. Exhale, right shoulder dropping into the mat, into the tune-up ball. Feel this downward pressure for 3, 2, and 1. Ease off it. You decide. Might take a few more rounds of breath here. You might spend the whole time on this side in stillness. Again, if it shows up differently, if it feels really tight and you're getting benefit, there's no need to move. But if you'd like, you might draw the right hand down towards your hip, palm facing in. Slowly, we reach the arm up. Ooh, maybe you take it back. Maybe it doesn't go that far back. What is your body telling you? What is your breath telling you? Less is more with this kind of work. So we're not pushing for more range of motion. We're noticing the subtle sensations or not sharp sensations, but firm sensations on the back of the shoulder. If you feel sharp sensation or nerve pain, you're going to come out of the exercise. We never want that acute pain. We're looking for a broad, deep experience. Hands reaching up, fingertips to the sky. Maybe thumb reaches back and behind. Keep breathing through it. Go slow. Resist that urge to speed. Fingertips up to the sky, reaching back and behind. Ooh, this rolling is doing something to my vocal fry. I'm sure guys on the internet love that. Yeah, so we notice what arises, right? Might feel twitches, sensations, changes in the body from our default as we apply pressure in an area where we don't normally apply pressure. So for me, I'm noticing it's kind of doing something weird, like this weird feeling in my chest and my throat a little bit. That's just where this is showing up for me today. Deep, full breath in. Letting it go. I like to close my eyes with this work because it allows me to tune in a little bit deeper, to really focus my attention on the muscle that's under work here, the muscle that it's experiencing the massage, the release. Myofascial release is a great way to just learn a little bit about where the muscles in your body are, where you carry tension. You could do the same exercise with two desk workers, and one of them will feel this like crazy, and the other one might not feel anything at all. We all carry tension in different ways. Our posture is different. Next time you find that stickiest spot through this half arc, you might curl your hands like you're opening a doorknob, curl your fingers on the right hand, and twist at the wrist. Oof, this side feels so much grosser to me than my left side, which is super weird, like I said. What differences do you notice side to side? I think this rotating at the wrist is a little bit too much for me on this side, so even though I did it on my left, I'm not going to do it here. I'm just going to press my right shoulder down into the tune-up ball. But you're welcome to keep working with that doorknob opening, that cross-fibering exercise, as long as you can breathe through it. Try not to rattle the doorknob aggressively. Move nice and slow. It reminds me one time my brother came upstairs. I was watching TV with my dad, and he walks into the room and he's like, I made a mistake. And my dad just goes, oh shit. He's like, what did you do? And my brother locked the bathroom door from the outside and he couldn't open it. And I remember my dad just going down to the basement where my brother lived, and he was just rattling this doorknob aggressively. Rattle, 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 rattle. And obviously that didn't help. So anyway, it's not going to help you here either. That's the moral of the story. It's such an Aaron thing to do. Love my brother. We get into the same kind of nonsense. When you're ready, you might let that arm fall out to the right and start to drag your hand up and then down. Could be really small, or it could be big. I'm going to come into a seated position just so you can see the motion I'm doing with my arm. It's this lift and lower on your back. Palm or back of your hand is dragging against the ground. Again, the motion can be small or big. What serves you best? Can you relax the right shoulder down? Notice what's happening in your lower back, in your glutes. Can you soften? If this is serving you, keep working with this little half a snow angel, this little like sad snow angel wing. Or you might bend into that right elbow. Elbow and palm are on the ground, and we're drawing or lifting that chest up, or that arm up, sorry, as we pull it over our chest. As if you're coming into eagle arms, and then letting the arm fall out to the side. Hand can come all the way to the ground or not. Arm can come right over the chest or not. Oh, interesting. I have a lot more range of motion in this exercise than I did on my left side. When we move the arm in different ways, we're articulating different parts of the muscle fiber, changing the emphasis of the massage. So whatever was tight in my upper traps when I did this motion with my arm, it's not as tight on the right side. Can you keep your left hip grounded so we're not leaning over to the right? Shoulder blades planted, back of the head on the ground. I don't actually remember how we opened the bathroom door. Pretty sure my dad took the doorknob off. And then, yeah, I remember, because then there was no doorknob on that bathroom door for a while. So I just didn't pee down there because, you know, there was a hole where the doorknob should be. My brothers, they lived in the basement. That was not my haunt. It smelled bad down there. Anyway, oversharing, as I do. Let's find 3 more rounds of breath on the side. Wow, we spent a lot of time doing this. I feel like if I was taking my own video, I would put it on 2 times speed, so no judgment if you're one of those people. But knowing that with myofascial release, we derive more benefit from taking it slow and from spending the time. When you're ready, let your arm come down, roll off this muscle, sliding the tune-up ball aside, and letting your spine come down to the earth. Oof. I still feel a little asymmetrical. My right shoulder actually feels a bit closer to the mat, a little puffier than my left shoulder. But that's okay. That's why we do this work. Just acknowledging the tension, releasing, and maybe one day moving towards symmetry, or maybe not. One last range of motion check. Reach your hands down like you're trying to tap your ankles, and then fingertips up to the sky. Reaching back and behind. You can sweep your arms through. Notice the difference side to side. Harvey just licked my belly. You little weirdo. And one more time, arc the arms up and through. And this time maybe you let them fall out to the side in those little cactus arms. See how they feel. Nice work. Thanks for coming on that little journey with me. And we'll see you next time for whatever rolling video you guys request next. Bye, friends.